The witch house looms in the heart of Salem, its blackened timbers groaning under the weight of a cursed past. Judge Jonathan Corwin's home, where the fates of the accused were sealed, is a mere whisper in the symphony of dread that permeates this town. In 1692, Salem, Massachusetts, became a crucible of terror, its streets choked with paranoia as the witch trials claimed lives and fractured souls. The restless dead, 20 executed, 5 perished in squalid cells, countless others broken by fear, still haunt this place, their anguish etched into its very foundations. Among them, Rebecca Nurse and Giles Corey stand as spectral sentinels, their brutal ends fueling Salem's reputation as America's most haunted town. Step into its fog-laden streets, and you'll feel them watching, their whispers clawing at the edges of your mind. Rebecca Nurse was no witch. A 71-year-old grandmother, her life was one of quiet devotion. Church every Sunday, 8 children raised, a farmstead in what was then Salem Village, now Danvers, humming with honest toil. Yet, in March 1692, the venom of hysteria poisoned her name. Ann Putnam Jr., a girl of 12, writhed in court, her screams accusing Rebecca's spectral form of tormenting her soul. The evidence was a patchwork of lies, old land disputes between the nurses and the Putnams, whispers of envy, the fragile threads of a community unraveling. 39 neighbors signed a petition swearing to her piety, and the jury, in a fleeting moment of clarity, declared her not guilty. But the courtroom erupted, the accuser's wails drowning out reason. The judge demanded reconsideration, and on July 19th, 1692, Rebecca Nurse was dragged to Gallows Hill. The rope snapped taut, her prayers swallowed by the summer wind. Her homestead, preserved in Danvers, is a time capsule of her tragedy. Visitors speak of an oppressive silence there, broken by faint sobs near the old well or the flicker of a woman's shadow in the attic window. Some swear they've seen Rebecca herself, her weathered hands folded in prayer, her eyes burning with the injustice that stole her life. Giles Corey's story is even grimmer, a tale of defiance carved in blood and stone. An 81-year-old farmer, rough-hewn and unyielding, he was no stranger to conflict, his past marked by petty disputes. But when the trials ensnared his wife, Martha, hanged days before, Giles became a target. Accused in April 1692, he saw the court for what it was, a machine devouring the innocent, fueled by greed and fanaticism. A plea would mean a trial, a conviction, and the loss of his land, impoverishing his sons. So, Giles stood mute, his silence a thunderclap of rebellion. The court, enraged, resorted to a medieval horror, pressing. On September 19th, 1692, in a field near the jail, they stripped him bare, laid him flat, and piled stones atop a wooden board. For 2 agonizing days, his ribs cracked, his breath grew shallow, yet he gasped only, "More weight." His death was a final act of defiance, a curse on a town that betrayed him. In Howard Street Cemetery, where his body was unceremoniously buried, the air feels heavy. Passers-by report sudden chills, the sound of labored breathing, or a hulking shadow glaring from the mist. Locals whisper that Giles's curse lingers, tied to every misfortune that befalls Salem. The trial's shadow stretches far beyond these 2 souls. Gallows Hill, where 19 were hanged, remains a place of dread, its exact location debated, but its aura is undeniable. Hikers report an unnatural quiet, broken by distant cries or the snap of unseen branches. The old Burying Point Cemetery, one of the oldest in America, cradles the graves of trial figures like Judge John Hathorne, whose unyielding rulings sent innocents to their deaths. Orbs of light flicker in photographs, and whispers drift from the weathered stones. The Joshua Ward House, built on the site of Sheriff George Corwin's home, the man who signed the warrants for the condemned, is a hot spot of unease. Guests describe cold spots that freeze the blood, doors slamming shut, and the sensation of being choked by invisible hands. The Lyceum Hall, now Turner's Seafood, stands where Bridget Bishop, the first to hang, once owned an orchard. Diners report glasses shattering without cause, or the faint wail of a woman echoing through the walls. Even the House of the Seven Gables, immortalized by Nathaniel Hawthorne, whose ancestor presided over the trials, hums with spectral energy. Footsteps pacing empty halls, windows opening on their own. Salem's haunted legacy draws paranormal investigators like moths to a flame. Armed with EMF meters, spirit boxes, and infrared cameras, they chase proof of the unquiet dead. Some capture distorted voices pleading, "I am innocent," or fleeting shapes darting across grainy footage. Others leave with only the weight of unanswered questions, their equipment silenced by the town's elusive spirits. The trials, spanning January 1692 to May 1693, accused over 200 souls, executed 14 women, 6 men, and left 5 to rot in jail. The hysteria, fueled by religious zeal, social tensions, and unchecked power, tore Salem apart. Tituba, the enslaved woman whose coerced confession ignited the madness, vanished from records after her release, but some claim her shadow lingers near the Witch Dungeon Museum, her voice a faint murmur in the dark. At night, Salem transforms. The fog rolls in from the Atlantic, curling around streetlights that flicker without cause. Essex Street, lined with witch-themed shops and tarot readers, feels alive with unseen eyes. The Ropes Mansion, with its manicured gardens, hides a darker truth. Visitors report apparitions in colonial dress, or the scent of smoke from a fire long extinguished. The Salem Inn, a historic hotel, is notorious for Room 17, where guests awaken to the sensation of being pinned to the bed, or the laughter of children who vanish when the lights come on. Every corner of this town holds a story, every shadow a secret. The ghosts of Rebecca Nurse and Giles Corey, bound by betrayal, are said to walk among the specters, their anguish a warning to those who listen. Dare to tread Salem's streets after dusk, where the veil between worlds frays. Stand on Gallows Hill and feel the weight of history's wounds. Visit the Witch Trials Memorial, where 20 stones bear the names of the fallen, and listen for their whispers in the wind. Salem, Massachusetts is a town that never forgets, its past a wound that never heals, its dead refusing to rest. Share your ghostly encounters below and tell us, have you felt the chill of Salem's haunted heart?